We had one of the best games this year with the top two teams in the league just last week. And so even though I had some other ideas planned, this game was too good to not be broken down at all. So before we get into what really happens in the game, some of you guys wanted me to try to detect coach signals or words that hint at certain actions. Well, here's one that the Jazz used. I don't really know how to say it, so I'll just play 3 clips and let y'all hear it.
What do you think is
checking on each other to make sure that they're good?
The basketball and the culture.
Now the thing you're going to notice is that the alignment looks pretty similar. There's a ball handler on top with Ayton being the initial screen and a forward either Crowder or Cam Johnson being the second screen, which they can then just flare out. If I had to guess, Hushba probably is code for an off-ball screen of some sort, unless it was a play call that the Suns used and the Jazz detected it, but anyone that knows either of these two teams more might have a better idea than me. The Suns use this set a lot, and here's an example. So Chris Paul has Ayton as the first screen, and you can see Booker come set the second pick once Ayton finished setting the first one. This allows CP3 to throw to Ayton and he gets a layup. And so there's flexibility with this action. You can see Cam Johnson slip the screen, which gets the defense scrambling even though Paul misses. But now onto the game itself. Let's start with how the Suns guarded the pick and roll. As you guys probably know, the Jazz are the best 3-point shooting team this season, and a lot of it has to do with the pick and roll with Rudy Gobert for kick-out threes. So to prevent these kick-out threes, the Suns play drop coverage, which means dropping the big man down low and force the guard to fight through the screen. In the first quarter, the Suns wanted the Jazz to hit more pull-up threes than allow them to drive and kick. And on the first possession, the Jazz spread it out with 3 guys on the right-hand side, and you can see how far DeAndre Ayton drops back. This space allows Donovan Mitchell to attack downhill, and you can hear Snyder yell,
You know, Utah love the control.
And Gobert gets an alley-oop out of this. As Conley comes down, CP3 yells for Booker to go under the screen. Again, you can see how far Ayton is dropping and Conley misses. Now with Sarge in the game, the Suns still wanted him to drop. Monty Williams yells, and even though it looks relatively open, dropping prevents a pass to Gobert and invites Clarkson to shoot, who's only a 34% pull-up 3-point shooter, so the Suns are going to live with this all day. And even though he makes it, the Suns want Sarge dropping again on the next one, and this just shows how persistent they were to sticking with their game plan, and it works as Clarkson misses. With this drop coverage, the Suns were able to hold the Jazz to only 40 points in the first half, but as you can see, the Jazz were able to score 38 in the third quarter. So what really changed? As most of you know, national broadcasts will interview head coaches at the end of the third quarter. I think Monty Williams breaks it down pretty well here, so take a listen.
At halftime, they put up 38 in the third quarter. What do you think the difference was defensively for you guys there in the third?
Well, our offense didn't help our defense. We've been playing one pass shot, one action shot. We've been pretty one-dimensional. That's helped their offense. And then we've come up too much in pick and roll. Their bigs have gotten behind us. And it opens up chances at the rim and backside threes. So we got to do a better job of containing with 2-on-2.
So what does he mean by all this? He wants the Suns to contain the pick and roll action how they did earlier in the game. Remember, the Suns were using drop coverage to start the game, so what happened? As Conley uses the pick and roll here, Gobert slips the screen, which allows him to get behind Sarge. This forces Cam Johnson to help, and Clarkson gets a wide open 3. On this next one, notice how high Dario Saric is on this pick and roll. This gives a wide open passing lane to Gobert and an easy dunk. Compare this to earlier and see how far back Saric is. His feet are almost in the paint area on this Clarkson one, while on this one his right foot is almost at the 3-point line. Monty Williams wants the big man to drop further so that these easy dunks and corner threes aren't available. Here's one more example to show how dangerous coming up as a big man is. And notice how in the fourth, the Suns got back into drop coverage. Conley comes around the screen and Ayton backs up and lets Conley take the 3 and he misses. Same thing here. Ayton backs up again and allows Crowder to fight over the screen, and this leads to a turnover and eventually a Booker layup. Part of this is making sure the guy guarding the ball can also fight over the screen, as you can see Chris Paul fighting over this first one. And here's Jay Crowder fighting over this next one. And on the corner three I showed, Cameron Payne gets lost, which makes Ayton feel the need to come up. And it's no surprise that Monty Williams took him out pretty early in the fourth quarter. So with 5.5 minutes left, Cam Johnson defends his pick and roll well, which forces Ingles into a bad pass, and eventually Donovan Mitchell fouls Booker. Now you can see Ingles having a discussion with Mitchell on the last play. Now Mitchell's probably suggesting something, and I'm gonna guess he's telling Ingles to keep his dribble alive, and you can see Ingles saying, yeah, or you gotta come to me. And so if you see this clip, Ingles is in a tough position because no one gives him a passing lane, so he wanted Mitchell to help him create one. If you look at this play, Ingles probably should have dribbled around and Mitchell could have potentially cut on the right hand side. And the Spurs did this in the 2014 finals. Patty Mills keeps his dribble alive and Ginobili cuts through the defense for an easy layup. And so for the rest of the game, the Jazz and Suns wanted to attack Rudy Gobert and DeAndre Ayton in the pick and roll. On this inbound, you can hear Booker tell Ayton,
Mitchell and Booker had done tonight. Mitchell with a 31-point game. Booker's got 28.
and so this is a setup. It appears that Ayton is setting something up for Booker, but in reality, it's to put Gobert in the pick and roll. Gobert doesn't want to switch on Paul, so he gets to his sweet spot and he nails the mid-range. And after Ayton gets the rebound, they set up another pick and roll with Gobert, and this time forces the switch. He puts up the jumper because Ayton's got the height advantage over Bogdanovic, and this leads to an Ayton tip-in. And so with 2 minutes left, Chris Paul calls an inbound play. So in basketball, 1 means point, 2 means shooting guard, and so on. 1 to 4 basically means the point guard is setting up the power forward, which is Crowder in this case. So Booker cuts as a decoy, and this gets Bogdanovic stuck in a traffic jam, which gives Crowder an open 3 and he knocks it down. On the way down, the Jazz attack the drop coverage by using Gobert to screen off Ayton, and this gives Mitchell a wide open layup. And after CP3 picks on Gobert again and makes another wide open jumper, the Jazz tie the game on a Mitchell pull-up 3, and this sends the game to overtime. In overtime, the Suns run a set called Elbow. The initial play is to get Booker a layup on a back screen, but Mitchell defends it well. So Ayton is setting up a screen for Booker, but he sees that there's a traffic jam, so he tells Cam Johnson to use his back screen, and Crowder sees it. Open 3 for Cam. And with 40 seconds left, the Suns again want to create more confusion for Conley, who's guarding CP3, by putting him in a double pick. But they really just want to pick on Gobert. Now Ayton sets a pretty bad screen on Conley and CP3 misses the jumper. And in the huddle, you can see CP3 say, "Hey, sit down. Watch me, okay?" Also, I couldn't see the rest of this part of the conversation because this guy's big ass head was in the way. But here, CP3 is talking to Ayton. You know what I'm saying? Shift back and you're fried. Now for anyone that may not know what fry is, here's the Urban Dictionary definition for it. It basically means to kick someone else's ass. But anyways, if you look at the last clip, Chris Paul wanted Ayton to drop a little lower and screen because Conley would have been gone out of the picture and it would have been a wide open jumper. So after Booker misses the free throw, the Jazz call timeout and they're down 3. So we're lucky enough to get a shot of the Suns huddle and what Monty Williams is saying. Listen, we're fouling and stop clock. We're fouling, so it's hard to see the rest because there's people blocking, but I think he's saying you have to make sure the Jazz don't draw contact into your body. And out of the timeout, Craig fouls Mitchell immediately, and it works as he misses the first one. And CP3 is trying to tell him it's all good, but Mitchell's a little bitch and declines his high five. And this is how the Suns beat the Jazz. I hope you guys got a glimpse of the strategy that some of both teams used, and I'm excited if this is a 7-game series later on. If you guys enjoyed this longer video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.